news. I don't know how many of you also have Ricochet News. It's one of these fantastic distractors when you're working on your email and then the news pops up and before you know it's half an hour later. There was an article that caught my attention for the discrepancy between the title, which says corporate South Africa still treats women unfairly, and the picture showing a beautiful blonde with a sulking face, with in the background two men, bonding and doing the power thing, but just this sulky victim face. And I thought, what an advertisement for us women of how to not go about it. Sulking will not get you anywhere, as we know.
Amen.
Right. Okay, but nevertheless, again, Professor from Stellenbosch, a certain Anita Boss, she is from the business school, wrote a report on fairness in relation to women at work. It is, of course, still a topic. The disappointing thing is when I read the summary of this report, it sounds so much like Deja Vu. It sounds like the kind of report we've been writing for decades. Women are still being treated unfairly at work and at home, even though the topic should have reached maturity by now, she says. I think maturity is putting it mildly. But the main line of her analysis is, once organizations take the realities of women seriously, women and men will be able to participate differently at work, bringing their full selves and talents to bear. The snag here is once organizations take the realities seriously, because organizations don't do that. She also discusses that fairness is a vague and debatable concept. And that is true, because like all perceptions, they come from our background of socialization. What is missing is gender intelligence, because none of us have had the kind of gender studies or gender education which is critical enough to explain where perceptions and beliefs come from, where the domestic code comes from so many centuries ago, and what is fact and what is fiction. So if you don't have that objective ground to make your case, you don't have a case. I would like to get to the recommendations at the end of this report. Again, there is nothing new under the sun. But she makes 2 points which I found interesting. Women should be coached on how to negotiate improved sharing of house and childcare with their partners. Now, the important thing is the negotiation. But why the women now should be coached to do this at home only beats me, because it's at work you have to start. It's the corporates that are not family friendly, as every single father and mother knows. Okay. Another recommendation, women should continue to voice their concerns about fairness and should perhaps be invited to be brave and openly discuss their experiences with their managers. We all know the manager who says to you, just be open with me. That's enough for you to be suspicious and to come and to not even say what you think or how you really feel. So women should continue to voice. Right, let's change this. Voicing things in that context isn't going to make any difference. If you voice your voice where you are employed, you're going to see the back door before you have finished your sentence. It happened to me quite a few times. It's not about voicing your concerns in the face of your manager, but it is about developing a mindset that you can demand. And with your demands, that you have to work your corporate structure. And outside your corporate environment, it's civil society that's going to make the change, not your work relationship. That being said, I think it would be really fantastic if working women would take the trouble to be coached in gender intelligence so that they would know more. And I also think it would be really great to get negotiation skills so that one would be able to place demands and to negotiate them. Bringing this to BNI, and women now having businesses that we represent in BNI, remember the core values. I mentioned them last week. You all remember to givers gain one, the building the positive and supportive relationships, Our training and education important. Tradition plus innovation, positive and supportive attitude, recognition and accountability. Which of those values do you think are the most appreciated or the most important as a support system for women who have a small business and who join BNI? That's a question. I was thinking about that myself. Which are the values that really make the difference for us?
Accountability.
You know exactly what I've been thinking. The accountability one. Somebody, somehow, in the system is accountable, and what you contribute, it's calculated, it's there, it's a fact, it's not invisible. So thank you for the support in that, and that's it for today. Thank you.